Hello everyone, this is Shannon from That's So Poe, and today I'm here to do a series review of the Fluff series by Raven's Dagger, which is a self-published lit RPG series that I have fallen completely in love with. It is so excellent. So I want to tell you all about it and really why you should pick this up. So first, let me tell you about the two books that are published so far in this series. The first is Fluff 1, and this is a great story. So this is set in modern day Canada in a small college town, and we follow Emily, who kind of wakes up one day right after she's moved into the dorms on Power Day and discovers that she has villain powers. And this is a world where there are heroes and villains and kind of everything between rogues and scoundrels and all sorts of things. And she just wants to be a normal college kid. She does not want to be a villain. So she tries to hide this, but she gets pulled into this world as she accidentally uses one of her powers and summons a sister or kind of a minion. And that happens more than once. And so she gets pulled deeper and deeper into this world, and it's really, really hilarious. In Fluff 2, Emily's story just continues, but she has even more sister summons, and also she starts gaining minions. So both kind of human minions as well as masks, who are humans who have superpowers. And her kind of strength grows, and she gets more involved as she realizes she has to actually start making money if she wants to take care of all of these sister summons that she's now responsible for, who are basically preteens. Lots of fun antics ensue, and there's also a lot of really cool world building that's going on in here. So both of these books are LitRPG, which means that they are books that are fantasy that have actual stats for the characters like you would in an RPG game. But in this world, that's just a thing that the heroes and villains have, and they can see it and they can choose how to like level up their powers and these sorts of things. Both of these books are available to read for free online, kind of chapter by chapter. So I will link those below in case you wanted to give it a try. And the first one has been put into ebook form and is available to buy on, Kindle, that sort of thing. So let me tell you about what I loved about this series so much, starting with just how fun this is. This is such a lighthearted, cute, funny series. This is the sort of thing that when you need a pick-me-up, this is it. It is called Fluff for a reason. It is just so gentle and so sweet and so cute. I think the really, really adorable part of this is the sister summons. Because Emily has summoned, and as you go through the series, there's more summons who happen, these sisters who are preteen girls that each have kind of like animal traits. So her first sister is a werebear. She can transform into a bear, but each sister has different powers and has sort of different attributes of the animals. And it's so fun to see how each of them is so different, and they're adorable and they have so many antics. The first werebear summon, for example, Teddy, she ends up, trying to mug somebody, but that person actually gives her a book on communism. And then throughout the whole series, she's very much all about eating yummy food, taking naps, and fighting capitalism. It's just so fun. And each of the sisters has their own unique things, and also all of the kind of side characters and everything, just really fun characters, excellent banter, excellent teasing, just really so much fun in this series, and I think it just makes you smile and makes you laugh. Another thing I love about this series is the way that it mixes the magical and the mundane. So we have a lot of magic in this series. We've got all of these different people with superpowers called masks, and the heroes and the villains. And we see so many different types of powers. Emily and her sister summons each have different types of powers as well, plus all of the different masks, these superheroes and villains that she interacts with. And we see battles between them. We see just so many different uses of the magic. So lots of magic is going on in this world, but so much of the story is focused on more of the everyday. So things like really using that kind of lit RPG format where they're trying to choose, okay, where should I allocate my points next? Which skills do I want to improve? Or really Emily just kind of trying to deal with a lot of logistics. She's basically become this single mom of all of these preteen sister summons. And so her taking them, for example, to the thrift store in order to pick out some outfits for their costumes for when they go and do battles and things like that. Or her, you know, making sure that they're like, oh, if we fight those people, can we get pizza afterwards? And like, okay, we can go get pizza. And, you know, trying to negotiate as the sisters bicker amongst one another. Or before they leave to go do the fight, making sure that everybody's used the bathroom, all that sort of stuff. And it just adds this kind of coziness to the story while having still all of that magic and coolness. And I loved that balance. I also thought that the character growth in this series is really fascinating and interesting. Not only do we see the characters grow in terms of their magical abilities as they level up and gain new skills, but we just see character growth as, especially for Emily, as she's growing as a person. She deals in the very beginning with like really extreme social anxiety, but over the course of these 2 novels, she really grows. She still has to deal with the social anxiety, but she grows in terms of her belief in herself and her ability to handle situations. And especially as she kind of gains more of these powers and minions and things like that, she's realizing that, you know, she can find a lot of strength in herself. And it's just so cool to see that. I also think that her character growth in terms of understanding more nuance in the world, you know, she is just so against the idea when she is given these villain powers. But as she grows and she meets more heroes and more villains, and she knows her sister summons and all these sorts of things, she starts to really like have a more nuanced understanding of heroism and villainy and all of these ideas and really what her place is in this world. So I loved that growth for her character. And in terms of the broader world of this series, I think that it brings up really interesting themes and questions about what makes a hero and what makes a villain. I think in this world we're shown that a lot of heroes aren't really all that heroic. I mean, they have these powers and they have this alignment, but a lot of them are maybe out for the fame or for the money. A lot of the heroes are more concerned with, for example, getting kind of like advertising deals than they are with necessarily like fighting bad guys. And a lot of the people who are on the more villainous side of the spectrum aren't really that bad. Like maybe, for example, there's somebody who can steal a little bit of luck from other people around them, but like they're not really hurting people, it just feels vaguely uncomfortable, that sort of thing, whereas some of the heroes are kind of bullies. And so just kind of that exploration of what really makes somebody a hero or a villain, and are heroes always good and villains always bad? So it's a fascinating discussion, and I love the way that that has developed from book 1 to book 2, and I just can't wait to see where it goes from there further in the series. Overall, I think that the Fluff series is just so fun. I think that if you are somebody who really wants a pick-me-up, you want something gentle and funny that has really cool magic and great characters, this is such a worthwhile thing to pick up. And if you haven't read any LitRPG before, I was a little kind of worried at first. I was like, how is this going to exactly feel? I haven't read this. It's self-published. Will it be good? No, this is excellent, you guys. This is really, really quality. And after I picked up the series, my husband did, and he was blown away too. So I think that this has really wide appeal in terms of who's going to enjoy it. And if you're not really sure, definitely check out those links to where you can read it kind of chapter by chapter. Read a couple of chapters and see what you think, and then, you know, you can go get the ebook. It really surprised me by how good this series is. And I just now want to read a ton more really cozy LitRPG because it's so much fun. This series is excellent, highly recommend it. If you guys have read this series, or if you have any recommendations for me for like really cozy SFF series, I would love to hear them. Just leave me a comment down below.